You also mentioned about the mistakes and failures. And most people try our best to avoid the mistakes, especially Chinese. We love our 面子 to protect our face. I think we don't want to talk about the mistakes we made. So how do you handle mistakes and failures? What do you think about them?
You know, there is a thinking to it. It sounds superficial, but there is not such as a failure if you learn from it, and everything can be a positive experience. And there is some value to it. What do I mean by that? It's like, for example, I'm a certified Scrum Master, Scrum Master, Agile Technologies. One of the principles is fail fast. You purposely push yourself even beyond the norm to constantly strive to become better. You have to experiment, you have to check on things. And in this case, failing fast is not failure. It's like what the success of the internet companies in China, for example. Why was it so successful? Because they constantly push it. They try, it works now, okay, modify, it works now, modify again until you get it right. And as everything is evolving, customers' needs, etc., you're constantly with the flow and trying to improve and trying to adapt. And I think this is the right way. And the biggest mistake, the saddest thing, the biggest failure, true failure, is if a person doesn't use her full potential, and always trying to avoid risks. And that is the biggest thing. A person who doesn't want to fail is fearful. A person in extreme case is a coward. A person who loves face, mienze, is not a confident person. And so losing face, what does it mean? It is like, yeah, it's maybe even good because you may have not the right face. You lose it like a mask. It's like, no, this is not right. Oh, I lose it. Very good. I lost it. I learned something. And so this is part of learning, a constant recognition. We have to accept that our mind, that we as humans are very fragile and we can't get it right. And it also good because it forces us to work in terms of relationships together with other people. We have to team up. Otherwise, I mean, if we were perfect, and would not fail, we wouldn't have a need to really be together. So why engage? It's like do it all ourselves. So it would be possibly quite lonely. So that's the first part. And of course, some mistakes, certain things are mistakes. For example, a person cheats on his wife is a mistake, a serious mistake, and it has very negative impact on the entire relationship, on the children, etc. This is a very bad mistake. So certain things are bad. You mentioned one of these rich children who drive a big car and drunk and kill a person. That's a horrific mistake. And certain things are difficult to mend. But the thing I want to say is, as long as you live, you got a chance to make things better. As long as you breathe, you still have a chance. So it's not over for you. You still have a chance. You may mess up big time. You have done maybe horrific things, but you're still alive. You're still breathing. You can still make a difference. So that's a positive thing. And one thing is also, and I give you an example in terms of learning. There are certain, when you learn languages, you have to constantly make mistakes. You constantly talk. The more you talk, the more mistakes you make. And there were two people, an American and a British. They were in Spain. And one American was always making fun of the British person. Both were trying to speak Spanish, of how many mistakes he made. And the English, he didn't care. He spoke. But over time, his Spanish got really good. The American never really improved because he never really said anything, because he was afraid of speaking and being laughed at. But nobody really laughed at. In the end, he was not making progress. And the English, who was the victim of scorn and ridicule of that American, I mean, he spoke fluent Spanish in the end. So who's the winner in the end? So we all make mistakes, we all learn, and I think this is why we all need to be humble. And a good thing is, when we make mistakes, it's, hey, I'm sorry. That's a very important word. I'm sorry. Help me to do it right. I mean, help me learn, teach me. What can I do it better? How can I do it better? How do best people or best company do it? That has been my approach. Always looking like, who is an expert in the field? Who can I talk to? Who are other world-leading companies? What can we learn from them? And always with a caveat, they are not perfect, but what can we learn from them? And then applying these principles and learning.
Yeah, I quite agree with that. I think, from another way, we should say failure is just a temporary new start. Just keep making mistakes, and then once you always make a conclusion about your mistakes, you always improving. Then you can achieve your goal. Only when you give up, then you say, I cannot do it, or you from your heart you like give up. Then we can say, oh, by then maybe it's
yes. The point I also want to make is, some of your goals may be wrong. Yeah. So you need to have, it's like a double loop in your process. It's not just like do it until you get it right, but always verify, is what you're doing really the right thing? And this is a learning experience. A person may set himself a certain goal and then find out that, no, that's actually not the right goal. I was immature. Certain goals I set in my life were not the right thing. I was like, I'm laughing now, but I mean, yeah, I come up with certain goals. It's like, no, I wouldn't say that is a good goal. And I learned over time, but I mean, this is a learning process. We grow in character, we grow in our vision, we grow in our understanding, and suddenly certain goals are not important. So it's not about foolishly following a goal until self-destruction only to achieve the goal. If the goal was not right, you shouldn't do that. So verify always your goals. Is that the feedback? So your example, you have a girl who wants to become a singer, but she always gets the feedback, no, she is not a good singer. She doesn't have the voice. After some period of reflection, she may have to take the input and say, well, I may use other skills. What are my other skills? I possibly are not an opera star. Okay. I mean, for example, I played soccer in football in Germany. When I was 16, we were getting up to the highest league, playing against Bayern Munich. We were a village team. None of us, I would say, in our team had the capabilities to play professional soccer, become a professional. But we were very harmonious, very well as a team, and we were beating really good teams. And I had to make a decision. Do I want to become a professional football player? And my analysis at that time was, no, I'm not running fast enough. And I don't have the body coordination that professional footballers have. And so at the age of 17, to the surprise of everyone, I said, hey guys, I'm done with football. I still like watching it, but I didn't train 4 or 5 times a week anymore. I did other things. So I worked as a journalist instead. And I covered sports, which I really liked as a high school student. So, but this is the biggest failure in life is not really trying, not leveraging your balance, and or having goals which are wrong or which are not really adding value to society and to people.